elderly woman was kicked out of a hotel, but when they found out she was the owner, it was too late. Stephanie stepped out of the sleek cab and gazed up in awe at the towering 7-star hotel, the most renowned in the entire city. The hotel was a celebration of natural beauty, a symphony of elements designed to enchant and enthrall. Waterfalls cascaded down fake rock formations, their gentle roar echoing through the cavernous space. The air was redolent with the scent of exotic blooms, the colors of which dazzled everyone's eyes. The floor was adorned with the most sumptuous Iranian rugs, their intricate patterns a testament to the artistry of their makers. The lobby itself was expansive, so vast it could have housed a small village. In one corner was a charming cafy, its walls adorned with paintings of idyllic landscapes. Next to it, an antique store beckoned with its treasures, each item a story waiting to be told. As Stephanie walked further into the lobby, she caught a whiff of something delicious. Following her nose, she found herself in front of a restaurant, its doors wide open, inviting her in. The aroma of succulent food wafted out, mingling with the sweet scents of the flowers, and Stephanie's stomach rumbled in response. Before the grand entrance to the hotel stood an impressive reception desk, a masterpiece of wood carving, fashioned from the finest oak. Its natural beauty shone through, the wood grain perfectly preserved and its color a rich and warm hue. Stephanie approached the reception desk, her mud-caked sneakers leaving a trail of marks behind her. The sweeper, a disgruntled figure, scowled at her disapprovingly and muttered to himself, "Who let these psychos into the hotel?" Stephanie brushed past him, her eyes fixed on her destination. As she drew closer, the receptionists appeared to be engrossed in their own conversation, oblivious to her presence. The reception area was manned by 2 individuals, a stunning blonde woman and a tall, dark-skinned man. Undeterred by their inattention, Stephanie stepped up to the desk. She stood there, waiting patiently, until they finally turned their gaze towards her. She held their stare, unflinching, as they sized her up. Stephanie greeted the receptionist with a bright smile and a warm hello. "Good afternoon." She was feeling exhausted, but still determined to secure a room for herself. As she spoke, the receptionist seemed to be preoccupied with something else, leaving Stephanie to wonder if her voice had been too soft to hear. Not one to give up easily, Stephanie tried again, raising her voice slightly to grab the receptionist's attention. "Excuse me," she called out, catching the receptionist's eye. "I need to book a room for a few hours. I am willing to pay the full amount. Do you have any rooms available?" As Stephanie approached the receptionist, she noticed his critical gaze and felt self-conscious about her appearance. Her joggers were muddy, and her long skirt was dirt-streaked. Her headscarf was frayed and torn in places, and her hair was greasy and unkempt. The wrinkles on her face were deep, and dark circles under her eyes betrayed her exhaustion. "Excuse me," Stephanie said, trying to catch the receptionist's attention. "I was wondering if there were any rooms available." The receptionist barely glanced up from his work, muttering a dismissive reply. "Sorry, ma'am. All the rooms are reserved." Stephanie persisted, pointing out that she had seen vacancies listed on the hotel's website. But the receptionist's tone turned hostile, and he began to criticize her appearance. "Ma'am, kindly leave," he sneered. "We are hosting a mega event, and we don't want our floors ruined by your dirty shoes and stinky clothes." Stephanie's voice was heavy with sadness as she confronted the receptionist's unkind behavior. Her eyes grew moist as she spoke, feeling deeply hurt by the disrespect shown towards the elderly woman. "You are being unkind," she said firmly. "I want to speak to your manager." The girl behind the desk stood up and approached Stephanie, grabbing her by the shoulder. "I am the manager," she retorted sharply. Her demeanor was aggressive, and she dragged Stephanie out of the room with force. As Stephanie was pushed towards the exit, the receptionist made a derogatory comment. "We definitely don't have space for maniacs," she sneered, before shoving Stephanie out the main door. The hotel's management was in a frenzy as they called back the sweepers to clean the floors that Stephanie's muddy shoes had dirtied. The hotel was preparing to host a grand fundraising event, and the owner of the 7-star hotel chain, which had branches all over the state, was hosting it. The hotel management wanted everything to be perfect for the occasion. The fundraising event was to be held in the lobby on the 2nd floor. An hour after the scheduled start time, guests began to arrive in their extravagant dresses. Among them were business tycoons, anthropologists, business moguls, hotel owners, and members of the elite. The purpose of the fundraiser was to collect donations for children in third-world countries who had no access to basic education, health, or food. The lobby was soon filled with guests, eagerly waiting for the host to arrive. As time passed, there was still no sign of the host. The management informed the guests that the owner had just returned from visiting the outskirts of a third-world country. She had been traveling and meeting people, and was expected to arrive after freshening up. After an hour and a half, Stephanie returned to the hotel, almost unrecognizable from before. She pulled up in a BMW and parked in the VIP area. She was dressed in a stunning navy blue gown that accentuated her figure, and her ears sparkled with diamond studs. A dazzling diamond necklace adorned her wrinkled neck, and her previously greasy gray hair was now shiny and draped over her shoulders. Despite her age, she looked absolutely stunning. As Stephanie opened the door, the receptionists were taken aback by her transformation. One of them remarked snidely, "People will go to any lengths to pretend to be rich," and they exchanged mocking smirks. Meanwhile, the hotel manager had been leaning on the reception desk, but as his eyes fell on Stephanie's arrival, he immediately straightened up. He reached for the intercom and alerted the management that she had arrived. "Oh my goodness, Stephanie is here," he murmured under his breath, loud enough for the receptionists to overhear. "Her name is Stephanie," the receptionists asked each other in surprise. "She's so strange. We just kicked her out, and now she's back," another receptionist chimed in, adding to the conversation. The manager was perplexed by their conversation. He had prepared a VIP room for Stephanie to rest and change, but she had not shown up. He wondered why she hadn't arrived. "What are you talking about?" he inquired. "That strange lady," the receptionist began to say, but Stephanie appeared before them once again. "Hello, John," Stephanie greeted the manager warmly. "Hello, ma'am," he replied, informing the management of her arrival through the intercom. "Stephanie is here." The receptionists were puzzled by the manager's excessively courteous behavior towards an elderly woman. "Hello," Stephanie greeted the receptionists with a smile. "Where is the event being held, John?" she asked the manager. "The event is on the 2nd floor, ma'am," John replied, escorting her to the venue. Stephanie's arrival at the event caused a stir as everyone stood up to show their respect. She greeted them with a wave, spreading her warmth with a bright smile. As soon as she entered, the speaker rushed onto the stage and announced through the microphone, "The moment we have been waiting for has finally arrived. Please welcome our esteemed guest, Stephanie." The crowd cheered and applauded as she made her way to the stage to take the microphone. "I am immensely grateful for your presence here today, and please accept my sincere apologies for being late," she began her speech. Then, she added with a hint of humor, "It's quite amusing that the management almost kicked me out earlier, mistaking me for a beggar. If not for my persistence, I wouldn't have made it here on time." Everyone chuckled. Little did they know that there was truth behind her joke. "When I first started my hotel business, it wasn't smooth sailing. I faced bankruptcy, loneliness, and debt. My friends abandoned me, fearing that I would ask for their help, but I refused to give up. My father suggested that I sell the entire business and pay off my debts to the banks, which left me confused and scared. I had countless sleepless nights and battled depression, but my determination to create something not only for myself, but for the community and others never wavered. And now, I'm proud to say that we have 12 chains across the entire state of America." As she paused for a moment, The audience erupted into a thunderous round of applause. I have witnessed the horrors of poverty up close and personal, and it's truly terrifying. This is why I travel the world to aid those who suffer from poverty, lack of education, and starvation. Together with my team, we have established 5 primary schools and a hospital on the outskirts of India. None of this would have been possible without the support of generous and compassionate people like yourselves. Stephanie concluded her speech. As she made her way back to her seat, the audience rose to their feet, showing their admiration for her. At the back of the room, the receptionists were glued to the spectacle, filled with unease and remorse. The gravity of their misconduct dawned upon them. They feared losing their employment or worse, facing legal consequences for their mistreatment of the hotel's owner. Even the manager shared the same concerns, anxious about the possibility of being dismissed from his post. As the guests departed, Stephanie retired to her private office within the hotel and summoned the manager and receptionists. The receptionists, filled with apprehension, answered the call in unison. Stephanie wasted no time and immediately addressed the issue at hand. "My dear John, why are my hotel staff judging people based on their attire?" she inquired. The manager attempted to apologize and explain, but Stephanie cut him off. "I understand they are new and haven't met me before, but it's not an excuse for their behavior," she stated firmly. Stephanie's frustration boiled over as she expressed her thoughts. "It's not just about whether they've seen me before, and it's about the standards we uphold. Despite my efforts to assist the less fortunate and even treating my staff like family, they still exhibit hostility towards those in need. It's disheartening to see that they won't even spare them a glance." Stephanie questioned, "Hasn't anyone trained these individuals before placing them on the front line?" She turned to John and expressed her dismay. "I'm feeling extremely disheartened today. These individuals need proper training." Stephanie motioned for them to leave, indicating that the conversation had ended. Stephanie had the power to terminate their employment on the spot, but she knew there was another way. She made the decision to transfer them to other roles within the hotel, a move that caught Lily and Frank off guard. Lily, the receptionist, was appointed as an assistant supervisor for the hotel's food management department, while Frank, the other receptionist, was appointed as the cleaning supervisor. To their surprise, Stephanie's act of kindness didn't end there. She remained warm and approachable, and the 2 employees couldn't help but feel grateful for the second chance. They knew they had let her down, but Stephanie's actions reminded them that they were valued and capable of making a difference in their new roles. Despite the awkwardness they felt around her, Stephanie remained unfazed. She continued to treat them with the same kindness and respect as she always had. For Lily and Frank, it was a humbling experience, and they were determined to make the most of their new roles. What would you do if you were management? Share your opinion in the comments. See you soon.